Hey you stranger, if you just clicked on this video, I gotta say, this one you gotta watch till the end. You will not regret it. So many headaches. This is actually post job, and I'm just glad it's done. But you guys are in for a treat, let me tell you. Anyways, without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Welcome back, all you lovely people. Today we are going to be installing a new radiator in my car. It's a pretty straightforward job, doesn't seem to be too difficult. If you're wondering why I'm replacing my radiator into a brand new Mishimoto, it's not for performance. My car doesn't have trouble cooling or anything. The previous owner actually had his battery blow up in his engine bay, and it got battery acid all over the radiator on the trans lines. Trans lines are still good. The radiator is still good, but I'll show you guys later in the video, but it's all corroded down the side of it. So I've been wanting to get a radiator for a while because I don't know if that's gonna hold up for long. Now, if you guys are wondering, why would you spend so much money on a radiator if your car doesn't even have trouble cooling? Well, I snagged a great deal on this thing. It was an open box item from American Muscle, which basically means someone else ordered the radiator and they returned it for whatever reason. It tells you what the reason is before you buy it, so you're not, in for a surprise or anything. But the reason why they returned it is because it had some bent fins and it had a couple scratches. Now, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, this thing's mint, and I'm getting it for half off because these things normally go for $360. Okay, $360 for a radiator. That might not seem like a lot to you if you own like a truck or a diesel or anything, because those are upwards of like $600-700 bucks. But for a Mustang, that is a lot of money. I snagged this thing for $200 bucks, and I can't even get an OEM radiator for my car anymore. They don't make them, so I can't even. I work at a Ford dealership and I can't even go get one. So they would have to get an aftermarket one anyway, and that one was $140-150 bucks. So spend 50 more bucks and get a top brand radiator company for my car. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the radiator. But first things first, I gotta get my car up on blocks because it's very low and it's gonna be hard to work on. And I'm also going to probably take off the front bumper just to give me that little extra room to make this job that much more easier. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever try.
Alright, you guys, now that we got the front bumper cover off, looking as beautiful as ever, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what we are going to have to take off. The first thing is we are going to have to drain the coolant, and that right there is the radiator drain. So you just basically twist that, make sure you got a pan underneath, and collect all the coolant. After that, we're going to take off the overflow reservoir, just these 3 bolts, undo that, and make sure any excess coolant that's in here is out. And we'll go from there, and let's go ahead and do that.
Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song.
Alright, you guys, now while that is draining, I'm going to go ahead and take off this overflow reservoir. I'm actually going to loosen this cap just so all of the coolant can drain a lot easier. I'm going to do a really great job of rinsing this thing out because it is super mucky in there. I don't know what happened in the past. There isn't, as you guys saw from the coolant, there isn't oil in the coolant or anything. It's just this is like really old, so I'm gonna try to get this thing mint looking. Snap-on still waiting on that sponsorship.
And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon.
Alright, you guys, we got the overflow reservoir off, and if you didn't understand what I was saying before, look at that. It's all nasty in there. Pretty dang bad. So I am going to wash this off really nice. And I guess that last camera footage would probably be a good time to ask this question. Do you guys want my brother to record these videos again? Because he got way better camera angles, and I honestly miss it. It's a lot nicer having two people, even though, I mean, he pretty much just recorded, but he would help me out a lot. And also he made it a lot easier because I didn't have to do the job and record at the same time. So if you guys want to see my brother again, leave a comment. Let's try to get him back here. It's not like he quit or anything. He didn't like, it's not that he didn't want to do this. I honestly felt bad for him because just dragging him along on these things. But if you guys want my brother back to get better camera footage, please leave a comment and I'll go ahead and show him those, and we'll see if we can get him back. Cleaned out the reservoir, and as you can see, this was nasty. That is black. Well, it's not black, but it's very dark brown. It ain't it isn't oil or anything. It's just, you know, rust from over the years. I don't think he's ever replaced the reservoir, so it's just, you know, rust from wherever the coolant goes, collects rust and then brings it there basically. But the good thing is it's not oil, so that is a plus. Here is our engine coolant. Now you will see oil in here because there actually was oil in this pan, but we have the green coolant that actually came out really clear. And as of the reservoir, I pretty much just rinsed that out until it was fully clear coming out of there. It still looks dirty, but that's probably the best I can get it without replacing the actual reservoir. And it's not really a necessity, it's just I really wanted to do that so my coolant wasn't so dirty. All right, let's continue on. You guys, our next step is going to be to take off this plastic shield here. We just got 2 push pins there. And then we're going to be taking off this cooling fan. So it's just a couple electrical connectors. You gotta unplug the harness from the cooling fan, get those tabs out, and also get the 2 bolts. This is right where, let me get some light. This is where the battery blew up on the radiator. As you can see, not too great, but we're getting a new one, so we should be good. This is the trans line that I was talking about. I've been putting WD-40 on it. I think it should spin. I think it'll be fine. So anyways, let's get this fan out and we'll go to the next thing. We are getting pretty close to getting this radiator out. Alright, you guys, it was a little annoying getting it out, but we finally got out the cooling fan. Boom! So, next step is pretty much the radiator. As you can see, the acid damage on the fan. Doesn't affect performance whatsoever, but structural integrity, a little bit. But yeah, let's go ahead and show you the engine now. So here we are. Cooling fan is out, so much room. I went ahead and took off that trans line just so I could slip the fan out of there, so that actually came out perfectly. I took off the upper radiator hose, and I think that's it other than all the all the fan stuff. So, all right, you guys, the next step is to actually take out the radiator. So all we have to do left is get out that last trans line down there. If only it were that easy. But this is where everything fell apart. The lower radiator hose. Take out these two mounting, I guess, brackets for the radiator, and it should slide out. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove this hose, run some water through it, and just try to clear that out. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to really run water through this one just because it goes way back there. I'm not going to go through all that hassle. But what I'm actually going to do is take out that thermostat and just completely flush out the entire coolant system, because as you can see, there's going to be some rusty brown junk in all of these hoses. So let's go ahead and get this radiator out, man. I'm excited. All right, you guys, we ran into a problem. I got way too ahead of myself, and the trans line that didn't look like it would be a problem became a problem. I kind of twisted it and broke it. I didn't even realize it when I was taking it off. It came off so smoothly. So, as you can see there, that is broken. I'm going to have to get some new trans lines, and that is going to be terrible to try to do in my garage, especially with the lowered car. Oh man, you live and you learn. It's not the end of the world. I can do it. It's just annoying. I was thinking about replacing those trans lines anyway because of that one, but I was trying to work around it, so I'm going to have to get new trans lines. But all right, you guys, new plan. I'm gonna flare my own line because the part is obsolete, so I can't get a new line. This is actually kind of exciting because I haven't flared a line in a minute. I hope I don't completely booger this up, but I'm not gonna put it on if it looks like crap, so I'm gonna do it until it's right. What I'm gonna do, I know people don't say you should do this, but it's done all the time. I see it, my buddy sees it. I'm going to actually cut the line right there and then just put on a new section there. So I'm gonna put two fittings right down here, and then obviously the normal connection. So I think it'll work. I ain't too worried about it. It might take a couple tries to flare this line, but this will be something new. So let's get it. I am back, you guys. I know it was like 2 seconds for you, but it was a couple hours for me. I went to O'Reilly's, got some trans lines, or a trans line, a straight trans line, and then I had to bend it myself, flare it myself, and this is what we came up with. So here is the old line. That's where it twisted off. And here is my new one. So, yeah. I only had to flare one end. But I do still have to flare the one on the car, which is going to be the hardest one. That is going to be very hard to do on a car. So, but this is the old fitting that would not twist off at the bottom of the radiator. So I got that on there, and the bends aren't perfect, but they don't gotta be perfect, in all honesty. She is good and flared. It ain't the best flare I've ever done in my life. That's just paint right there. That's not metal. But I think it'll get the job done. As long as it holds, I'm gonna be so proud of myself for doing this. Like, you don't understand, guys. Once I broke that line, I was like, I'm not gonna have a car for a couple days. You know, I probably shouldn't count my chickens before they hatch, because I don't know if this line will leak yet. But if it does, I honestly might just put a rubber tube over it, just like the shop foreman at my work said, and just put some hose clamps over that. I think we'll be mint, guys. So let's go ahead and attach this other line that I made on. Let me show you guys these flares. So this is the pre-made flare from when I got the line. That's like pretty much the best you could do. Professional. This is the one that I did. Sorry. Right here. It ain't perfect, but it'll get the job done. So let's go ahead and throw this on the car and we'll see if it lines up. Guys, we got the radiator out. Here is all the damage I was talking about. It actually didn't, it deformed the radiator pretty much. But it's not as bad as I thought it was. So now we just gotta do the Mishimoto radiator, get that in here. Here is our Mishimoto one. Look at that shininess. 200 bucks. Half off. Well, $160 off. And it's brand new. Never used. Just got it, or just someone bought it and then returned it. Because of scratches. I'm not even gonna see this thing. I ain't even gonna see it. You think I'm worried about scratches? Now the bent fins, okay. That's a different story. If you have bent fins, like, to where they are cracking the actual coolant passages, which, if you guys didn't know, these are the fins, right here. But these lines you see, that's where the coolant travels. And air comes through here, goes through these fins, which cools the metal that the coolant is in. So, that's your cooling system, basically. If all these fins were bent, then you'd have no airflow actually going through your radiator, and yeah, you would have overheating problems. But stuff like that, see how I just bent that? You probably can't even tell. That's what it was like on that one. That doesn't hinder performance whatsoever. I mean, every radiator is going to have some bent fins. So I would be a fool not to take that deal. Only paid $60 more than I would have for an aftermarket radiator just like that one, or I could pay $60 more and get this high quality Mishimoto radiator. I mean, it's night and day. It's a clear decision. So let's go ahead and get this thing in here. I'm gonna have to fiddle with that trans line to make sure it fits, but other than that, I mean, we are in the home stretch. I'm thinking once I get past the trans line, if I have anything to tell you guys, I will. But I'm thinking we just time-lapse this whole thing going back together all in one time-lapse.
Lacking all emotion, staring down the barrel, waiting for the final gates to open to a new tomorrow, moving with the motion, following the light that says
Okay, you guys, I have ran into another issue with the trans lines. You see this? How it's got this long part right here, and then the threads start right here and go up here? That hole is not deep enough for that first part. Why in the world would Mishimoto design it like that? Like, of all brands. I don't know, dude. What I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do is somehow cut that end off of that without cutting a line, and I don't even know how I'm gonna do that. I have no idea. I have to figure something out. Alright, you guys, so I'm gonna have to re-flare these and get these out from here because I need these fittings right here. The ones that came on the car are too long. There's no workaround. I tried to think of like anything, like an adapter in between the two. Oh my gosh, this is such a pain. I don't know why Mishimoto designed it like that. I'm honestly disappointed in them. What you gotta do, what you gotta do. Let's get it done. So it is actually 2 days since the last time you guys saw me. I got the new flare adapters and I ran into yet another problem. The bottom trans connector on the radiator, as you can see, the radiator is out right now. Actually, I don't know if you can see. I took it back out. So this bottom connector right here was stripped. I don't know if I stripped it from trying to put in that other connector, which I don't really understand because it's not like I cross-threaded it or anything. I just, because I couldn't get to the first thread. So I guess I just stripped it out by trying to force that in there, which I wasn't really even forcing it hard, but it is aluminum, so you know what I mean? But I went ahead and I tapped that hole, so it is all good now. The new connector will thread into it. I already tested it at work. But the reason why it's 2 days after is because we had a hurricane and I couldn't go to work yesterday because they were closed. Speaking of which, nothing really happened in that hurricane. I mean, it was barely even windy and it was right outside our coast. But anyway, so everything's good there. We are on the final stretch though. All I have to do is re-flare that line and then put it all back together. Fingers crossed. I said that like 3 times this episode, but like seriously, fingers crossed. Wish me luck, guys. This has been such a big headache, but I just want this thing done, and I still have to flush the system out. I'm gonna take out my thermostat and all that. But let's just get to it. I'm gonna put on another time lapse of me actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a sped up video of me actually flaring that line because I didn't really get to show the other two. So let's go ahead and do that. I cannot catch a break. So in that time lapse, that's how you flare a line. But here's what I think happened. I think all that corrosion from the battery exploding that got on that line made that line too small, and I cannot flare it. It just keeps pushing through the tool. I've tried like 6 times, and I wanted to make sure the tool was still good, so I went ahead and I flared this line. Boom! Perfect freaking flare. So here's the solution. I'm gonna cut that line. All right, you see that? It's like, it's too small. I'm gonna cut it right here. I'm gonna get a new line, and I'm just gonna make this bend. That's gonna be easy as nuts. Easy as nuts, bro. I'm talking walnuts, all right? I just want this thing done, dude. What did I do to deserve this? I wanted to replace a radiator, and here I am freaking replacing tranny lines, doing like 6 flares on this thing. Oh my gosh. It's a learning experience, guys. I never want to do this again, though. I'm fine with putting in radiators, that's cool. And I'm fine with doing flares. I swear, every time you want to work on your own car, everything goes wrong. Everything. So I'm going to go get new lines, guys. I'll be right back. All right, you guys. Made the new line. We got everything in place. Wish me luck, guys. I think we can make this work now. I think we can finally get the radiator in. Let me go ahead and show you guys. That line down there is in. The new line is in. This one is pretty tight, actually. I got that one pretty secure. I might have to loosen it, I'm not sure yet. The one down there is still really loose. Let me show you. See how I can twist it? It's still really loose because I'm not sure exactly the orientation it's supposed to be in when I put this thing in. And also, I might have to bend both of these yet to get them to fit properly into the radiator. But hopefully, let's set up the last time lapse of putting this thing in, and let's get it done. Alright, y'all, right here, it took me a solid 5 minutes to get this hose clamp in. But luckily, my brother was standing there the whole time watching in disappointment, so he could help out. Alright, you guys, the radiator is in, okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to show this on camera, I'm just going to go ahead and take off the thermostat housing, take out the thermostat, and run a hose through my engine bay to clear out all the coolant. I'm going to collect it, don't worry, I'm not putting this all on the ground or anything. But I really just want to flush out my system. After that, I'm going to put on the upper and lower radiator hose, fill her up, and we'll see if we have any leaks. Hopefully not. But knowing my luck, I probably will. Is this foreshadowing? It was indeed not foreshadowing. It is the next day. Drove my car to work. No leaks. She's mint, guys. She is good. So, here she is in all her beauty. There she is. You can't even see her. But that's okay. I needed a new radiator anyway. And here is the new tranny lines down there. And that is all. It can finally be called a wrap. If you guys learned anything from this video, I hope it was to persevere, because as you guys saw, I came across so many problems. This was a hard one, and it was supposed to be easy. What should have been an hour and a half, 2-hour job tops turned into multiple head banging and about 6 hours of work, including time to drive back and forth to O'Reilly's 5 times. 5 times I drove to O'Reilly's. Oh my gosh. But it is done, guys. Best part about it, it's not going to add any performance. Woo! No, I'm just kidding. That's not the best part. But anyways, guys, if you made it to this far in the video, the last minutes, please drop a like. I mean, you gotta. And if you have not subscribed yet, guys, please do so right now. That means so much to me. Also, do not forget that if you want my brother to help me out with the videos again, drop a comment down below. Just let him know, guys. Bring him back. Helps me out a lot, and it makes for better content, in my opinion. So thank you guys for watching. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.